The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, this is Ron Creasher from Golden Shovel Agency. I'm the Chief Operating Officer, and I am pleased to have Aaron Bressois, our CEO, who will be the main presenter today with Immersion Video for Economic Development. This is a new technology that we released at IEDC to actually really good reception. We've been very busy responding to people. This is something that communities are very interested in, and we're excited to bring it to you in a webinar. And a couple of things that I want to get out at the front end here. After this broadcast, later today and into tomorrow morning, you'll get a follow-up email from us, which will have the recorded link, so you can go back and review this, as well as we'll have the slideshow available if you'd like to see that as well. So if this is something you're interested in and want to go back and review it, we'll make that available to you. As well, of course, you can always request a demo, a specific demo for your organization, and we're happy to do those. We've been doing quite a few lately, and they're a lot of fun and they're informative. So with that, I don't need to take any more of the time. I'm going to turn this over to Aaron Bressois, our CEO, and I'm going to let him talk about Immersion Video for Economic Development.
Thank you, Ron. All right, is my audio pretty good?
Your audio is fine, and one thing I should also remind people, if you have questions, feel free to type those in your panel, your control panel for GoToWebinar, and I'll funnel those questions right to Aaron. But your audio is great, your video looks wonderful. You can take it from here.
All right, sounds really good. Thanks for the introduction. As Ron said, we have a brand new technology that we're showcasing today, and this is virtual reality for economic development. We are ecstatic to be able to share it with you guys. We just had the opportunity to unveil it, and it was a phenomenal experience being able to show it to all of the different economic development organizations and site consultants that were in Toronto for the IEDC conference. Perhaps some of you today that are on were able to attend that and try it on for yourself. So as I open up this discussion about virtual reality, I'd like to start with talking about video. And video right now is certainly the most watched content that's on the internet. Video has always had a good role on the internet, but particularly as the internet speeds have increased and with the high resolution screens and now being able to watch it through your television, video has become more and more popular and has created all sorts of benefits for people to use. And some of your organizations probably have videos that you've been using for economic development. They engage visitors in a way that other content cannot. One thing about marketing today, it's all about telling a great story and about sharing stories about the location and place that you're at. And videos have the most power for capturing that. Not only do you have the visual part of the story, but you can also have voiceover, you can have words spoken over it, as well as audio and music. All of these things combined can create a powerful, engaging experience that leaves a very impressionable piece on others and all of the users that are visiting. The other thing is making videos pretty cost effective. And it has benefits beyond just the engagement of the story. It helps with search engine optimization. Google prefers sites with video on them. Even the latest social media tools like LinkedIn, Facebook, all of these are pushing video. LinkedIn, with their 500 million users, just added video to be able to be added to their news feeds as well. And what we're going to be talking about next is virtual reality. And in a way, virtual reality is a type of video right now. It's a 360-degree immersive video. It's shot in a sphere. And I'll be talking about some of the different ways that this is used and how virtual reality is going to apply to the economic development market. But particularly, I wanted to say upfront that it does not replace video. Video still has great reasons to be developed, to be used in economic development. We have friends down in Texas. There's a company called Neon Cloud, and they do excellent video. So if you're looking for that type of video work or drone work, I highly recommend talking with those guys. As far as the 360 VR, it plays a little bit different role in and how it applies to the field. So videos right now, as they get put in, can be handled a couple different ways. What you're looking at right here is a workforce attraction video that's from the Yankton, South Dakota's workforce attraction site, where you can see entrepreneurs talking about why they're thriving in Yankton, why it's great to live there. Another thing nice about videos in this case is the York County Development Corporation in Nebraska. You can take a series of videos and put them on your homepage. There's lots of ways to get the videos out to people. So here is what we're introducing. Place VR. It's the first 360 immersive VR video platform for economic development and highlighting places. So let's start talking about it. What is it? And how is it going to be used, and where is it going to be used? And I think a good place to start on the what is it is relating it to, by just showing you. So take a look at this example. I'm going to show you a little bit. This is a 360-degree spherical video. What you can see, I can look around in an entire sphere. We're here in Duluth. There's a boat going under the bridge. I can look all the way up, see the sky. I can look down. We have a complete sphere. So how do we make it? Well, spherical video is made using a very specialized camera setup. The camera that we use is called the GoPro Omni, and it incorporates 6 GoPro cameras facing in all different directions. They're shot all at the exact same time and are synced together. Once we shoot the video in a full sphere, then we have to take it and we stitch the footage together to take those 6 individual video clips and put them together so they're in a sphere. So literally it's like you're sitting in the middle of it, being able to look around. One of the funny things about a shooting spherical video is there really isn't any place to hide. So we find a lot of times we're setting up the equipment, we're hitting record, and then we're running and blending into the background, whether that's hiding behind a tree or hiding behind a post, or just trying to mix ourselves up into the audience so you don't get seen. Because there's no way to hide from a spherical video, which is what gives it that full immersive, like you're actually there feel. Now there's a few different ways we see spherical video being able to be used in economic development. And right now we're working directly with Newmark Knight Frank, the site selection firm, on advisory on how to make these most effective to site selectors and to economic developers. Now the first thing to look at would be familiarization. This is a cultural tour. Oftentimes when a company is considering moving into a community, beyond just finding the right sites, they want to find the right cultural fit for their business. And they'll travel from community to community to community to get a feel for if it's the right feeling for them. In some cases, the site consultants told me they're bringing, a single company might visit 7 to 9 different communities, just checking it out. Well, familiarization tour can accomplish that. And in the design of the familiarization tours we've been making, we focus first on the industries that are best suited for the region, some of the target industries and some of the different types of businesses that are thriving there. After that, we go into some of the great infrastructure that might be available, whether it's a great health service or great schools that might be there. What is the workforce like? What is the quality of life like? Once we cover some of those to show the support for the workforce and why it might be great to live there, we get into what are the natural assets? Is there hiking there? Is there boating there? Is there great bike trails to go on? What about events? In some cases, we'll capture the events. We can capture the music in the area, and we can capture what it might be like to shop there or spend an evening there. A familiarization tour is designed to be a full picture of what the community is like, looking at it from a business perspective and also from a workforce angle. Another natural fit for VR is site tours. Now, when working with the site selection firm, what's interesting about 360 immersive VR is that unlike just a straight aerial imagery or looking at a map with the boundaries drawn out around the site, or even filming a site selector can choose what they want to look at on site with the immersive VR. What was interesting to me is that the site selectors advised us that yes, the site is interesting, but what's far more interesting is all of the infrastructure supporting it. And that infrastructure might be the sewer mains, it might be the water tanks, it could be the electrical that's coming in, or the gas lines that are coming in. They'd like to see the clover leaf that's nearest to the site. They want to see the neighbors. What is there, a neighborhood next to it, or is there a golf course next to it? You might want to take a look at that. Beyond the site and just the infrastructure components around it, they'd like to see the nearby airport. They'd like to see some of the other aspects of the site, like the schools or the training facilities, and certainly some glamour shots of the nearby community. One of the things that a site selector can then do is, using their own expertise as if they've been visiting themselves, is look at the details that they want to look at, not just the details that get presented via standard video. A third way we see this being valuable using immersive VR is for workforce attraction. And the workforce attraction videos can be handled from two different perspectives. One of them might be from the business itself. Let's say you're looking to attract certain workers to a specific plant where they have some jobs that are available. Well, in this scenario, there might be an introduction with the CEO of the company. You might have some wonderful shots of that particular business to give somebody an idea of what it might be like to work there, what the environment would be like. And then you can put on the end of it some of the familiarization quality of life pieces, so that if somebody considering working there doesn't just get the picture of what it might be like at that particular facility, but you get the full picture of what it'd be like to live there, all of the quality of life, and what it might be like having their kids go to school or buying a house in the community. All of that can be put together. Another angle on the workforce attraction video is actually coming from the worker's perspective. One of the top types of content right now for attracting workers is aspirational stories of people that are thriving, that are just one step ahead of the target audience you're looking to attract. Those stories can be captured in immersive VR in a way that's more engaging and more memorable than just putting a written story on LinkedIn, for example. A particular person thriving in the community that has the aspirational story could bring you to their house, and you could look around and see the type of house that they have and the yard that they have. They could bring you to their workplace. You could actually see what it's like to sit at their desk or to be working with their colleagues. And then you can bring them to where they recreate. So perhaps 10 minutes from their house might be that great fishing spot where they're out there trout fishing. They can show how they got off work at 5:30, and by 5:45, they're dropping their fishing line in and picking up trout out of the stream. That type of workforce attraction video in an immersive sense can be very, very powerful. And naturally, tourism is a perfect fit. Certainly showing somebody all of the great things to do in a community in a way where they can feel like they're actually there certainly will be a more memorable experience and put them more top of mind when considering where they might go for a weekend or for a vacation. So how is 360 VR used? There's quite a few different delivery methods. On one hand, you can embed a VR video onto your website. It can be served directly through YouTube. And from YouTube, it gives you options. So if you can put it on your website, you can pull it up full screen. You can move using your cursor. you can drag that video around in a 360 sphere, just like I showed you before, over the go-to webinar here. You also can pull it up on your tablet, or you can pull it up on your phone. One nice thing about the tablet or phone is when you run it full screen, it uses the gyro inside the tablet and phone, so you can move your phone back and forth in a 360 fashion and actually look around the sphere as if you're looking through the window. By far the most powerful way of using VR is with a headset. When you have a headset on and you look at it in 360 spherical video, it can fool your brain into making you feel like you're actually there. When you look right and everything moves right and you can see video where there's actual movement, you know you're not in a still picture, your brain will tell you that you're actually visiting. Now, how that gets served is two different ways. One of them, on the headset, like in the picture of this lady here, she's actually would have taken her cell phone, she would have pulled up her smartphone, taken it through YouTube, split it into split screens, and stuck it right inside there, and she'd be looking at it in a VR 360 immersive experience. Another way of doing it is with the high-end VR systems. These are absolutely wonderful. I believe that the high-end VR systems are by far the best way to share your immersive VR videos, whether it be with potential business owners or at trade shows. There's three different types. There's the HTC Vive, the Oculus Rift, and the PlayStation VR system. Of these three types, we found the PlayStation VR system to be the best for an economic developer's use. The reason is because of the price and because of its portability. Both the Vive and the Oculus Rift system, which arguably are even higher end systems, require pretty powerful PCs to run in a little more space, and they have a little more equipment. The PlayStation VR is quite portable. For about $750, you can get a PlayStation, you can get a PlayStation VR helmet, and you can get a case for hauling it around as a carry-on. And we were able to travel with it quite lightly. This makes it very easy to bring your community to, say, a trade show. If you're in another country or in another location. So the VR itself can be served through YouTube, and that's really important because what's happening right now in the industry is there's massive, massive innovation around virtual reality and augmented reality. Virtual reality in that all of your experience becomes virtual, just like a 360 immersive video, and augmented reality in that you're looking through glasses, and then it's applying digital information to what you're seeing. And what we're focusing on right now is the virtual reality. But with this kind of investment from companies like Google, Apple, Facebook, all going into this right now, this technology is only going to grow very, very quickly. So one of the best uses of where you would use this technology, I believe, will be at industry shows. Now, here's an example of a story. If you're in Hanover, Mass. At a manufacturing conference, and you meet a gentleman from Taiwan who perhaps is a business owner, how do you share with them in a way that lets you stand apart from the hundreds of other booths? How do you share with them about where your community is and why it's a good fit potentially for their business? Traditionally, you have a 10-foot by 10-foot booth. Maybe you have something bigger. You're working with your state. You've got a backdrop. You might have a small video running. You probably have some kind of giveaway and some nice brochure to be able to hand them, hoping that they'll go to your website to get more information. That's how this has been done to date. What's possible now with immersive VR is, let's take for the first example I showed you, was Duluth, Apex region up in the Duluth area of Minnesota. If you're from Taiwan and somebody from Duluth says, hey, you should really consider our region. We've got manufacturing companies a lot like yours. We think you'd be a great fit and appreciate the quality of life that we have. They say, wonderful, where are you located? They say, well, we're Duluth, we're in Northeast Minnesota. Like, well, where's that? Is it by San Francisco? And you're like, no, it's more north of Chicago. And you find real quick that with it aside from some major cities, oftentimes the rest of the United States is a blank canvas. They don't necessarily know where Minnesota is. They don't necessarily know where Duluth is. Well, instead of telling them about it and telling them why there's a great quality of life and telling them about why they should come by sometime and check it out, instead now you can say, hey, let me show you what my community is like. They can put the goggles on, and for a few minutes they can experience what it's like to stand at different spots throughout the region, and they can experience the industry, they can experience the quality of life, and they can get a well-rounded picture of what it's actually like to be there. I believe this is the future of industry shows and economic development, that the trade show experience will be a virtual reality experience. Why would you tell somebody about your community when you can bring them there and show it to them, even from afar? Another one is in site selection. This would work a couple different ways. One is if you're meeting with site selectors and they are not able to be at your community, you could show them a site in a way where they can take a look at it and make some decisions and have a conversation with them there. Another nice fit would be if you're working directly with a business and you're down to your final sites and you want to show them those sites. Not everybody necessarily from that business was able to go on a site tour or was able to travel to the community. Here's a way to speed up the site selection process by sharing an immersive experience of what it was like to be there and give them a better sense of the experience that people had if they had been able to go. I think this is particularly powerful when an economic developer can be there with the potential business owner or the potential site selector. So although this is very portable, you can look at it from your phone, you could put it into a headset and send some headsets to the site selectors or business owners. The strongest is when the economic developer can do their handshakes, can be there in person, show the video in an immersive way and answer questions and guide them along, making for the strongest personal relationship combined with immersive experience. A great fit for workforce attraction videos is the career fairs. Just imagine if you're trying to attract workers to your company and you're the one with the PlayStation VR setup and giving them a 360 immersive experience of what it might be like to actually be working out of that particular facility. Or watching one of your thriving workers talk about why they love their job and what makes their life great. This would be very powerful, very memorable, and just see really big opportunities for career fairs and for sharing this technology with potential talent. So I'd like to show you a few parts of this particular tour. This is the Apex VR familiarization tour that we made. This is the one that we did up in Duluth. It's about 7 minutes long. I'm not going to show the entire video, but I'm going to show some clips and some key shots so you can see a little bit about how we thought through and structured the video as a whole. You can view this video online. You just go to YouTube and search for Apex VR. So I have the audio turned off. If I have it on, you'll hear.
The Apex region is a stunning, picturesque location.
Able to see the whole piece, but let me show you. It's opening up with a nice view of Lake Superior, largest freshwater lake in the world. Skips over to the boat shot that we saw. There's the boat coming through. run this full screen for you guys. As we get further into this video, you'll see intermodal. This is a place where they're transferring shipping crates from the trains onto trucks. 360 VR, you can get some pretty neat effects. This is a company called Alltech. They build arms for trucks. You can see what it might be like to be in that environment, live in that environment. I know this is a little choppy coming out through over the GoToMeeting, so I would invite you all to try it yourself. If you have a pair of goggles, you can pull it up on your YouTube app on your phones, and it'll give you the option for looking at it through the goggles. Here's the airport. After getting through some of the different industries, aerospace is a really big deal up in the Duluth region. This is a group called AAR, which keeps airplanes. We had to remove the logos off the airplanes.
Aaron, as you're looking at, or as you're viewing that video and demonstrating that, I do have one question that has come in, and the question is there an industry standard for how long a VR video should be?
Sure. The answer to that is no. We are setting the industry standard right now. The current familiarization tour videos that we've been working on tend to be between about 5 minutes to 7 minutes. Those are the ones, they encapsulate about 30 shots. One of the things with VR videos, you have to give people enough time per shot to be able to look around. If it goes too fast and you feel like you're missing something, that can create some anxiety. With that said, workforce attraction videos can be shorter. There's ways to take a full familiarization tour video that might be used at a trade show and cut it up into smaller pieces too, maybe a part about the industry, a part about the quality of life, and use it for some different pieces. As you can imagine, here's a biker that comes right down through here, showing off these trails. As you can imagine, a lot of the footage applies multiple times. So the same quality of life footage can apply to both a familiarization tour, as well as a workforce tour, as well as a tourism related tour. So it's easy to go and capture footage that can be applied to a package of these. All right, so we're looking at all these different biking trails. In this tour, it goes to this is the port. It goes to a neighborhood, and it shows an example of a house. There's the backyard. This might give you an idea of what it might be like to buy a house up in the Duluth region. With the audio and voiceover right now, they're talking about the low cost of living. They're talking about the great K through 12 education. Then it gets into the universities. And there's shots of like these very nice campuses. This is St. Scholastica. Here's the University of Minnesota Duluth. That's a neat shot. You can see the big sculpture there in the yard. There's cranes out in the background where they're still adding onto the campus. This shot here, they're talking about workforce training. Now we get into the quality of life. This is a really neat shot. Here's the Bayfront Blues Festival. And there's a singing going on one side, and you look behind you and there's 1,000 people watching. Makes for a very, especially with the goggles on, very exciting experience. Here's another festival from Duluth area, right down on the port. Now we're right on stage watching the band play. You can see all the different people sitting out in their chairs and watching. Really cool. They can show a little bit of what the nightlife might be like. Here's sitting right outside on Canal Park Brewing. The bonfire over there. See the lake behind you. They talk a little bit about the brewing industry. That brings you right inside the brewery. One of the things you'll notice that right now through YouTube, this is actually running at 4K. This is a very high resolution video. Now it'll adjust to the speed of the internet. So if you have slower internet, it'll automatically downgrade to a lower quality. But if you're using it at a trade show, if you're using it with a VR system, being able to shoot at 4K just gives us lots and lots of room. Look at this, this puts you right down into a underground club in Duluth. You can watch the band playing. It goes through all of the different quality of life items, and then it ends at the Split Rock Lighthouse, just up the coast, one of the famous landmarks of the Apex region. You can look out over the lake. It comes down to a conclusion, and then we run thank you credits. We can, there are any of the businesses that participated, if there's local musicians that have provided music to it, anything that requires thank you can be run at the end. We can do some pretty exciting shots. Look, this is way up on a tower. We're 5 stories up. I can look out, but I can also look down. And I'll tell you, with those VR goggles on, you look down and your stomach will turn. It's actually, the camera's hanging off of the building by a few feet. So
Aaron, another question that just came in is, how long does it take to put one of these together?
Good question. It'll take about 3 days of shooting to get all the shots that we want. And so we come in, we send in a 2-person team, and we'd shoot the shots over the course of 3 days, weather permitting. We have to work around that, unfortunately. With that said, before we go in, there's already a script that's been roughed up, so we know what shots we're looking to get, and we know what we're going to be saying about them. And then that gets finalized before the final product is done. Depending, sometimes we get lucky and get some shots we didn't plan for, and those make it into the video. The actual production takes 2 to 3 weeks. So overall, to develop from beginning to end, about a month.
And Golden Shovel does everything from the beginning to the end?
That is correct. Yep. So this technology, once again, was just recently unveiled. The Apex project just launched. The press release went out as early as this last Tuesday. By all means, take a look at it. There's also one that we've done for Johnson County. It's called JOCO First, J-O-C-O First. You can find that on there also. We had the opportunity to bring this to IEDC in Toronto. Here's our booth set up. You can see Michael over on the right here holding the PlayStation VR helmet. It was a wild success. Hundreds of people had a chance to try it, and the experience that you have when putting the helmet on, once again, I can't underestimate how much it makes you feel like you're actually visiting a place, and how it tells your brain that's there and how memorable it is. This is Greg Wassmansdorf from Newmark Knight Frank taking his first look at the Apex familiarization tour. And he took off the helmet, and the first thing he said was, "I feel like I've been there." And he couldn't have said better words. At the end of the day, that was the whole goal of bringing VR to economic development, is so that whoever it is, whether it's your prospective talent, whether it's a site selection firm, whether it's a business owner, is going to have an experience that they had been there. There is no business decision made. There's no businesses moving. There's nobody moving their families to a place that they haven't at least visited or felt like they've seen before. And this is as good as it gets right now to be able to give somebody an experience of being at a place without actually getting on a plane and getting there.
Aaron, the next question is, can the camera be mounted on a drone?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely be able to mount them on a drone. In fact, one of the groups I'd mentioned, like Neon Cloud, they have they specialize in drone technologies, and we certainly be able to work with them to do drone flights if necessary. We can. The thing about the drones is that you have to make it so that you block out the top of it so that you can't see the drone itself. So if you're looking up, if it's a perfectly clear day, you can cover it up with the sky by covering up the video. But if otherwise, you put a screen on the top so people are just looking down. But there are absolutely applications for drones in 360 VR. Sounds good. Are there any other questions, Ron?
At this point, we don't have any other questions. We are past the 35-minute mark, which I know the attendees usually have pretty busy schedules. So if there's any final questions, please send those in, or if you'd like to share your contact information, Aaron.
Sure. Okay, well then the last thing I just want to say is this is the very, very beginning of virtual reality and economic development. This industry is about locations and places. Virtual reality is about showing those places in a way that that is engaging and impressionable. One of the things when we were in Toronto at IDC, we had an opportunity to play the Ghostbuster VR system. It was this massive set of rooms where you put on a vest, you put on a helmet, you walk around and you get to be a Ghostbuster. It's truly immersive. And you look around, you see your other guys, these are some site selectors right there playing with us. And I just wanted to pose it as, who knows what the future site visit's going to be like? Future site visits might have a lot more gear. It might be a little more, just a different approach altogether, where ultimately this isn't going to replace somebody putting their feet on the ground or the relationships that you make in person, but it does let somebody visit from afar, and that is the most important piece to remember here. And what we want to do with all of your communities is capture what's the best items, the best assets of the community, put them together in a way that someone can experience it. So thank you for tuning in today. Here's my contact information. We certainly can make some of these slides available. We'll take this recording and make sure we get it onto our website.
Well, thank you, Aaron. And with that, as I said at the beginning, we'll send a follow-up email, which will have the recorded link to today's webinar, as well as the slides that are available, and we'll include the videos that Aaron showcased for Apex. And of course, if you're interested in having your own demonstration done, we're happy to do those. Just let us know, and we'll find a way to get there, show you some VR video, as well as let you strap the goggles on and take a ride for a while. We're happy to do that.
All right, thank you, Ron. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful afternoon.